The Enclave is potentially the most powerful faction in the entire American wasteland, yet they could have been much stronger. I already went over what I believe to be their master plan in a previous video, but here's a quick recap. I believe the plan was the Enclave would either cause nuclear war, or they believed it inevitable and prepared for it as such. Thus, the vaults were created to house the best and brightest of the country. Some of them, at least. In reality, the majority of the vaults were social experiments, because the Enclave's plan was to create a better world through selective survival. The best and brightest would be sheltered in the control vaults, and the rest would either be experimented on in the other vaults or left to burn in nuclear fire. Of course, there was vaults that had other purposes, such as Vault 79, holding America's gold reserves, which would be used to restart the economy after the war. There's also the missile silos. That would have been used to finish off China. This was the Enclave's plan, though, to re-establish control over the post-war country. But from what we can see, even 2 centuries after the war, they still haven't come close. The point of this video is to explain why, and how it could be the key to the resurrection of this faction. So why? Why did the faction seemingly most prepared for nuclear war get so devastated by it? There's actually a few contributing factors, but they almost all lead to one specific factor that prevented the Enclave from post-war supremacy. I think the best place to start is with the Great War itself, and to clarify, I consider this a contributing factor, not the deciding one. Where I think the problem started was the nuclear strikes on America. Now that may seem stupid as they prepared for a nuclear attack, but it's more about the force of the attack. It seems as though the number of nuclear detonations was too much for many of the government systems to withstand. This may have been poor planning on the government's behalf, or it may have been the fact that the Chinese had vastly superior stealth tech, allowing them to easily launch a surprise attack at close range, limiting America's ability to counter the warheads. Why does this matter though? What does this affect? The one greatest reason the Enclave failed, in my opinion, is the failure of their communication systems. Without it, each Enclave installation was left on its own, unable to coordinate the plan with other Enclave installations and unaware if they were even still operational. How do these communication systems work though? From what I can tell, there's 4 known communication links the Enclave has. First, Raven Rock, which doubles as a backup presidential bunker. Second, Offutt Air Force Base, the Strategic Air Command, or SAC. Third, the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD. Fourth, Iron Mountain, though there's no real-world government facilities with that same name. Most likely, it's located in the Iron Mountains, California. Raven Rock, as Eden puts it, was to act as a relay between other installations. This is likely what Iron Mountain was too. Offutt AFB was linked through communications, but I assume each Enclave installation would contact it individually, rather than it being a relay itself. As for Cheyenne Mountain and NORAD, it could be either way. Now, I want to look at the positioning of these installations. Here is all of them on a map of the United States. It still doesn't look like much though. But if I add the other 2 main Enclave bases here, I hope you can see what I'm getting at. If Iron Mountain is indeed a relay point, then we can see that both relay stations are right near other Enclave installations, and potentially NORAD is a relay station as well. These relay stations appear to be transmitters for the closest Enclave base to them. Iron Mountain is listed as being offline by 2241. I speculated it could be the nukes, but that's not certain. Either way, the oil rig was cut off from the rest of the Enclave until it was destroyed. Now is when I explain how exactly this could be the key to the Enclave's future. If we get a communication system up and running, then we could finally unify the Enclave forces. But to actually accomplish that will be hard. There's 2, potentially 3 relay stations we know about. We don't know why exactly Iron Mountain is offline, but as I said before, the oil rig was destroyed, so it doesn't matter. But NORAD and Raven Rock are a different story. NORAD was featured in Fallout Tactics as the lair of the calculator. All endings for Tactics end up with the Brotherhood in control of the Cheyenne Mountain complex. Fallout Tactics isn't completely canon though. It also takes place around 40 years before Fallout 2, where NORAD is listed as offline. Maybe something happens in that time, or maybe it's just a link to the oil rig specifically that's offline. Either way, I don't think we're going to be heading to Cheyenne Mountain anytime soon. Although, maybe in Obsidian's next Fallout game, we will have a look at it. Now, we're at the last of the relay stations, Raven Rock. As far as we know, the communication system there still works, so why hasn't it been used? Raven Rock is, as well as a relay station, the backup presidential bunker equipped with its own ZAX unit. We don't know whether Raven Rock has been communicating with anyone, but the White Spring bunker is the heart of the operations, and Appalachia is in far better condition than anywhere else we've been, and Raven Rock gets destroyed anyway. So it would make sense for the rally point to be the White Spring bunker, or at least somewhere near it. The only problem is, the White Springs bunker can't communicate with any other installation. This is detailed in one of the bunker's recordings, where the officers responsible for trying to communicate speculate that the lines could have been cut. This could be a result of the nukes, or I think what's much more likely is Secretary Eckhart sabotaged the connections. So if we fix the lines where Eckhart sabotaged them, from the White Springs bunker we could then contact Raven Rock and potentially contact any active Enclave installations through Raven Rock. There's just one more possibility I want to explore. It relates back to one of my previous videos. What if the White Springs bunker isn't connected to Raven Rock through hard lines? What if there's another relay station closer to the White Springs bunker, and the reason it can't connect to the oil rig or Raven Rock is because the line between this relay station and the White Springs bunker is the one that was cut? But where is this other relay station? Anyone who watched this video should know what I'm going to say next. Mount Weather, the operations center of FEMA, the closest organization to the Enclave in real life. So far, we haven't heard anything about Mount Weather in any Fallout, but it's turning out to be the best chance the Enclave has to return. I already went over the other reasons for this in my Mount Weather video as well. If we do eventually venture to Mount Weather in Fallout 76, or even if we just repair the connection from it to the White Springs, the Enclave could be united, not only allowing them to be in 76, but setting them up for the future. It could easily fit with the lore too. The oil rig is cut off until it's destroyed anyway, and the Enclave in Fallout 3 could just be a fraction of the main force. It does seem weird that in 35 years the highest rank in the Enclave would only be a colonel. There's also the way Grand Zealot Richter specifies his service as being in the capital region, That was apparently the only known enclave in 35 years, so specifying it is weird. That's it for today, I'm afraid. Feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already to make sure that you stay up to date with all the videos I upload. There should be another one coming soon, but it may not be a full-out one, I'll see. And if you have any questions or suggestions for videos you want me to make, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I do try to read every one. So, I'll see you next time.